The report on by the control of budget on how the counties have utilized resources. So far, we understand that 50.9 billion shillings have been released to the counties. Out of that, for development, it's 3.5 billion shillings that has been spent on development votes. For current expenditure, it's 47.43 billion. So you see, for instance, in Baringo, they received 575 million shillings, 0 shillings to development. Garissa, 1.08 billion shillings released, development 0 allocation. Meru, 1.7 billion shillings received, 1.6 went to recurrent expenditure, for development 0. For Kakamega, 1.6 billion shillings released, only 74 million shillings went to development. What is the challenge here? Because it has to be explained. No, let's start with the former deputy governor. How do you explain this? We're which month? We're in January, so sort of we have already done the first half of the financial year.
Yes.
What is so hard that you receive money and devote it to development expenditure just like you have allocated in the budget?
Yeah, you know, last time I told you I'm reading a book called Why Nations Fail. And that book says nations fail because of institutions not working. And that's exactly what you're seeing, you're seeing there. So take the county government led by the governor, put it aside, because you won't be able to control what the governor does. He can do whatever he wants. But there's institutions created by the constitution that are supposed to check what the governor does, to make sure that the governor, he or she, doesn't really do whatever they want, even if it's against the interest of the people they're representing. So the first institution is the county assembly, the MCAs. And I had a sitting the other day with Prime Minister Raila Odinga, and we discussed this at length. And we agreed that something must be done. You know, we're talking about the referendum that might be coming. And something must be done with the county assemblies. How do we get the MCAs to work? Because by the time a governor is allocating 0% or has spent 0%, of their budget on development, it just means that the county assembly is completely asleep. What is the public investment committee doing? What is the public accounts committee doing? There's committees on every aspect of development in the assembly with chair people. So what's the education committee doing? Why aren't they asking the governor, you're not building schools? There's the infrastructure committee, why aren't you building roads? There's the health committee, why aren't you building hospitals? Why isn't there medicine in our hospitals? So just give me 1 second. This is very passionate to me, so I just want to explain it so our viewers can understand what goes on and why it's important for the institutions to work. So there's that. So the MCAs, first of all, need to be able, as an institution, as the county assembly, to hold the governor to account. I'm sorry to say, but right now what the MCAs do is either they align with the governor based on parties, or 2, they're compromised with goodies by the governor and they turn a blind eye. That needs to stop. The second institution is the control of budget. You only spend, and again, this is law, you only spend what is in your budget, and the money comes from the control of budget. This is law. So by the time a governor is requesting for money, from the controller of budget. The controller of budget looks and sees, this money you're requested, is it in the budget? Yes. If it's in the budget, it's released, and then it can go and get spent, right? So if the governor is spending 0 on development, and his budget said 30% development, because if he didn't say that, it wouldn't again pass in the county assembly. Then there's a problem with that institution as the controller of budget. So now, if the controller of budget releases the money, and says, the governor says it's supposed to be for development, the control of budget checks, finds it's in the budget, and releases the money. And the governor does not spend that money on development. Then there's the auditor general. And they're supposed to also come and censure the governor on that. So if those institutions don't work, then you're going to continue seeing this very sad state where there's 0% being spent on development.
I'll give each of you half a minute. And allow me
Sorry, I took too much time, but I'm really passionate about this.
But is there any justifiable reason why you'd have such kind of scenario? That so much money has come in, all of it recurrent expenditure, very little or 0 for development? Halfway into the year.
That's a correct question to the wrong people. What I would like you to do as the media is, on this table, I want you to have the MCAs, the chair of the Public Accounts Committee in the various counties appearing on this show and explaining that. get the control of budget to come on this show and explain it. Secondly, I think there's been a show by, I think, Jeff Koinange, Linus Kakai, going around the counties, and they end up talking about things that are not so, you know, other things. But I want them to go around and have those MCAs explain it to their people why this is happening. Just put the heat under their seats, because that is how you make elected leaders accountable.
Fair point. While you served as the Speaker of Nairobi, was there any justifiable reason that we would have the situation you have currently?
Well, I don't think, I don't know. First of all, I remember clearly the budget we did. And I know there were many development programs that we put in. We had ensured we have money for all the wards where we are having challenges of water in Nairobi to either put a borehole or something where we know there's no borehole. And I can line up so many. So for me now to come out, this is because of only one thing. And I'm sorry to say that sometimes we lie when we are presenting the document to the control of budget. Because, you know, for her, she will look at your budget. But she's not there the moment you are now implementing or approving the money on the internet banking. The votes that you have given her, you come on internet banking and you change your votes. You start now paying other things. That is why you find them ending up in so much on recurrent. Because when they are paying only the things that they have now agreed. But when you went to the control of budget, what you gave her, that this is what I'm going to do in this quarter. I need money for this, I need money for this. She releases. It's not the same thing. So what we need, and then you will wait until, now we are talking of maybe accounts of, I don't know whether it's 2017 or when, is when, you can imagine now we are in 2019, is when now we are talking of money that has already gone. We should also ask ourselves as a country, should we be waiting until it's gone is when we are discussing it? Can we change and have this discussion quarterly, so that you can say, quarterly, you have not done this. And I know she releases quarterly this. But then we need to ask ourselves, even as the budget, as the control of budget gives us quarterly reports, what are we doing with them? Now it comes to the Senate. And then the Senate has to also relook at it and ask themselves that, do we want to wait until we see what the control of budget is saying? Or you must receive both documents that are of your estimates and of your budget of the year. And the senator of that county should start going through and asking himself, they have analyzed this, they have analyzed this. Can I see what is going for the quarter? So that you also pick up before. But if you wait until you receive the report, then you're not helping the country. You'll always have this.
And then some practically out of time.
No, consequence. Let me just finish what my sister, the speaker, is saying. We used to call her Madam Speaker Sir. Because she's very authoritative.
Really?
But just to finish this conversation, it's a compliment.
Please don't think about it.
Just to conclude this conversation, consequence. Now that we know there's governors who have broken the law and spent less than 30% on development, or 0% on, what is the consequence? Because our constitution is very, very good. It has provision for all these consequences. And if everybody did their job the way they should, then our country would move forward. And when I'm saying everybody, it's not just those in government or those elected. Even the Mwananchi, the constitution tells us that even the voter can go and tell the MCA boss, we got 0 development in our ward, you are not doing your work, we're going to collect signatures to send you home. So there should be consequence.
The courts have removed signatures. I hope they know that. That the courts the other day said you don't need a signature and you don't need a voter. It is how you present.